Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in. Somebody sent me this news clipping of a man who he went into the mall and he took 6 lives of women. And this right here is something that we're gonna see happen more and more because of pornography and that pathway. Because I'm guessing it was the man's dad who said the man wanted a girlfriend, but he had no social skills and he was frustrated. Now, when you look at the picture of the man, he looked like he would have social skills. He didn't look like he would just get overlooked all the time. Like he looked like he fit within what some women would be looking for. But that don't always add up, don't always mean that. So the man goes out. Now, this have nothing to do with this when you don't understand the spiritual side of things. It have nothing to do with him not having social skills, because most men don't have social skills. Most men are introverts and they're not going around stabbing 6 women. What this is this another case of demonic possession, which sometimes people call it mental health issues, but not understanding that mental health and your mental being toxic comes from a spiritual imbalance as well as a chemical imbalance. But when you understand the spiritual side of things, then you understand the gateways and the pathways of individuals who were not born that way. It's different if a person is born and they have struggled all their life with this particular mental issue and it's just come from their genetics. But when somebody lives a normal existence, they go through life, everything going well, and then they come to this point in this period of life, if you look at what they done got into and what they've been doing, then you will see the pathway. And you will see that porn, you will see the music that they listen to, you will see the stuff they watch on YouTube, who they listening to, and you will see how that frustration started to fester. And then when it spills over, because think about it, you can't really think about it because you have to understand how mentally sick someone is to go into a shopping center and to stab and kill 6 different women. Like, you literally have to be demon possessed, because it's people with all type of mental health issues that don't do something of that nature, but that's the same type of spirit that inhabits a person who goes and do the school shooting or the church bombing or the church shooting. And this right here is happening more and more often. And this is why I'm telling men, leave the porn alone. Leave the porn alone. Leave those satanic gateways to your mind closed. You have to close off those satanic gateways to your mind. The music, certain rap music, certain rock music, certain country music, certain alternative music, stuff you watching, stuff you listening to. All of this is a gateway to your spirit man, the spiritual man in you. And if you are not careful, we all will be led down this dark path that leads to destruction because of what you have allowed in your eyes or in your ears. You have to understand that it's what you watching, what you listening to, who you talking to, who you hanging with. All of this plays a part. All of this plays a part. And a lot of times people don't realize this. People don't realize and understand that it's what you are allowing to enter your spirit, your mind. And so you have to start to be mindful of this, and you got to come to a place to where you really start to pay attention to your influences. Now this is sad, and this also what I try to tell men. Because a lot of times men don't understand why I do what I do for women. And men don't understand why God allowed International Women's Day to be made on my birthday, March 8th. And men don't understand, why do you care so much for women? Why do you try to get a game to women? And why don't you just give the game to men? The reason being is because men are not losing. Men are not losing. Women are losing. And yes, you have some men that lose to a woman. You have men who get cheated on, get lied to, but it is greatly disproportionate to what women go through. I want you to look on the news. We just seen a man that I did a video about. We just seen a man, something Maxwell, I forgot the name. I remembered it before I did that video. But we just seen a man go out, get this woman, take on a date, go back to his house, dismember her, and then spread her parts throughout the city. We just seen that happen. Now we see another man. And again, this is a white man. And the reason why I'm making a point about this, and no offense to the white women, no offense to the white men, but the reason why I'm making a point that this is another white man is because there is a sector of black women who are pedestalizing and praising white men as if they are the second coming of Jesus Christ, and as if the white man is the savior of the black woman. There is a whole movement on YouTube that people have told me about, the divesting and all of this and all this. Get you a white man, get you some lobster and some pasta and some money to go shopping, and the white man is the greatest. I ain't got nothing against white men. I got a lot of white friends, but even they will tell you, if they being honest, there is no savior. They is not perfect. They are man just like a black man, just like a Hispanic man, just like an Asian man. And that's why I'm making another point. So here you have another white man who goes out into the mall, to the shopping center, and stabs and kills 6 women because what his family member, I'm guessing that's his father who they was interviewing, is basically saying he was frustrated. So I want you to think about that. But to the men who always got their chest full of air, always mad with me, always talking about I'm pandering, I want you to think about, when have we as men ever been in danger of a woman who is frustrated? It's way more frustrated women than it is men, because women in their relationships being beat on, being verbally abused, being emotionally abused, being financially abused. As men, we go through mental abuse. We could be mentally abused by a woman. Her being smarter, her being more savvy or street smart or what have you. A woman can mentally and emotionally abuse a man. And so some men go through that, but it's very far less than the amount of women who go through that at the hands of a man. If you a man, think about it. Think about when and how, this between you and God, when and how you have been abusive to a woman. Think about when and how your homeboy, your friend, your guy friends, or your dad or your brother has been abusive to a woman, mentally, emotionally, verbally, physically. And then think about, how many women have you dated? And in those women, how many women has been verbally, mentally, emotionally abusive to you? And when you just do this thing and just ask your friends, all your guy friends, how many women have mentally, emotionally, or verbally or physically abused you? And try to talk to men. Find men who have dated more than 5 women. And then ask them, how many of those women mentally, verbally, physically, emotionally abused you? And then you're going to have a guy say all of them. Then say, okay, what did she do to you? And then you determine if that's actual abuse, what he's saying. Because we have now, so many men have conditioned themselves to just hate women, not understanding that that is also demonic possession. Because the goal of Satan is to create division. So he comes in spiritually through portals, through music, through movies, through porn, through fornication. He comes in spiritually through a portal that we have open because we're not living righteously. And through that portal, he then inhabits men demonically and perverts the mind and heart and spirit of a man and makes a man resent or hate or despise a woman. And then he does the same thing to women. And because more men are into porn, because more men are into these different portals, these different vices, it's men are attacked more because men are called to be leaders, because men are called to be the head of the household. Men are attacked more because the devil wants to cut off the head. If he cuts off the head, then the body dies. And so men don't understand this. And this is how men are being attacked and spiritually. And then when you are attacked spiritually, it affects you mentally. And this is what a lot of times we call mental health issues, not realizing that the mind is connected to the spirit. So when the spirit is infected, the mind will be infected. And then when the mind is infected and it is poisoned, we then seek to lash out physically. And that is expressly why the Bible tells us that we do not wrestle in flesh and blood, but in spirits and principalities in high places. When you do not walk with God and you don't read the Holy Bible and you don't seek to live a righteous lifestyle, you do not understand spiritual warfare. So when you are in spiritual warfare, you act out physically. That may mean taking drugs. It may mean being promiscuous. It may mean gambling. It may mean killing. In this case, this man was so spiritually embattled, but having no understanding of the spiritual world and spiritual warfare, he took this anger and frustration, this pain, this hate, this resentment. And I guarantee you, if you look at the history on his phone and the history on his laptop, he was watching red pill content that talks about how women are liars, women are abusers, women are useless, women are gold diggers. I guarantee you, he was listening to red pill content. And when you look at the music he was listening to, I guarantee you it was toxic music that had either self-hating or woman-hating messages. And then I guarantee you he was watching porn and pleasuring himself, but at the same time building a resentment towards these women who did not look at him because he was not tall enough or rich enough. Now, that perversion in women, it comes together and it matches the perversion in a man. So women are being perverted by only desiring men of a certain height and a certain income level. That also is demonic because God judges the heart of man. He does not judge the height of a man. He does not judge the bank account of a man. God judges the heart of a man. So if you are a woman and you're looking at a man based on his money, based on his looks, based on his height, you're looking at him through secular, worldly eyes, not through the eyes of God. If you are a man and you're looking at a woman because of her height, because of her weight, because of her body, because of her face, you're looking at her through secular eyes and not the eyes of God. If you are saying that you have the right to judge someone based on those things because the opposite sex does it, then you are operating from a worldly place and a demonically possessed worldly place, because that is the goal of the adversary, to make us judge one another, to make us despise one another, to make us compete with one another. Because if we can truly operate in love, and if that love can be pure and it can be whole, it can be real, and we can judge people by their character first, by their character first, and then let the other things be icing on the cake. And if the other things are not there, but the character and the chemistry, because of their character and their righteous walk, fits us like a glove, we go forward with the relationship, even though they may not be of the complexion, of the height, of the weight that society has programmed us to believe is attractive. We go forward and we build a family and we raise our children in righteousness and in purity. That is Satan's nightmare. And so that is why we are being spiritually attacked through music, through media, through movies, through pornography, through all of these gateways, these portals to our spirit. And so what you see here is a spiritual attack on a man who then took and fought the spiritual war physically. And he took the lives of innocent women. So now you have to be, as a man and a woman, and especially as a woman, because women are being killed physically, you have to be prayed up spiritually, but you also need to be guarded physically. So if you are a woman, it's a new day and time. You need to start moving around. When you're moving around, you need to have mace, or you need to have a small handgun if it's legal in where you're at, or you need to move around with your brother or your father when you go into certain places, or just another person or two other people. When your spirit feels like, where I'm going, I don't know if it's 100% safe. No one goes to the shopping center thinking they're going to be stabbed to death. No one goes like that. So you cannot blame a victim of a heinous crime like this. What you can do is learn from it and then adjust accordingly, so that if you happen to be in that scenario, you give yourself the best chance possible to protect yourself. So if it was myself and I had a daughter, I would make sure, and even with my wife, I'm going to make sure she has mace on her. I'm out of town. I left my wife a small handgun. I taught her how to use it, taught her the safety button. Boom, pull the trigger. It's loaded. It's ready to go. Flick down this here safety button, aim and shoot. Let it all out. And it's small enough to where it ain't going to really kick back. It ain't going to hurt her. But I left her prepared. Now, we live in a gated neighborhood that got 24-hour security, so you can't get into the gate without talking to a human being. And then they got to call our house to let you in. And so it's another layer of security. And then I don't ever allow my wife to go out like at nighttime to a place that's not populated. If she's going out to a dinner place with her friends, that's something like that, but not like to the gas station where it's just her alone at a pump. I just wait till tomorrow morning that it got enough gas in the tank to get to the gas station, or if you need it tonight, I go get it. And if not, then drive a different car. And one of them gonna have enough gas to get you there. So you got to start to prepare, plan, and protect, because you never know when someone who is embattled spiritually will try to take it out physically. But to the men, it's time for you to guard yourself up with the Spirit of the Lord. It's time for you to put on the armor of the Lord, and it's time for you to come out of wickedness and enter into righteousness. and to live the way God expects us to live as men so that you do not become a vessel of Satan. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon.